Oscar Pistorius shortly after he'd killed Reeva Steenkamp. From the very beginning, he insisted it was a terrible mistake, that he and Reeva, seen arriving at his home a few hours earlier, were very much in love.
I was simply trying to protect Reeva. I can promise that when she went to bed that night, she felt loved.
In court, but not shown on the cameras, Pistorius maintained that he shot through his bathroom door, convinced an intruder had broken into his home. His grief and regret were compelling.
And I sat over Reeva and I cried. And I don't know how long. I don't know how long I was there for. She wasn't breathing.
Pistorius' defence made much of the athlete's vulnerability as a disabled man confronting a perceived threat.
His capacity to walk without his prosthesis is poor, his balance is poor, and he could easily be pushed over. When exposed to a threat, Mr. Pistorius is more likely to respond with a fight response rather than a flight response, as his physical capacity for flight is limited.
The prosecution sought to show there was a darker side to Pistorius, his obsession with guns, his quick temper, and it questioned how the athlete could have made such a terrible mistake.
When you shouted and screamed at Reeva to phone the police, she is 3 meters away from you, in a toilet.
That's correct, my lady.
And she never uttered a word.
That's correct, my lady.
It's not probable.
But at the heart of this case was the question of what Pistorius was thinking when he shot 4 times through the toilet door.
I heard this noise and I thought it was somebody coming out to attack me, so I fired my firearm.
Your defense have now changed, sir, from putative self-defense to involuntary action. Is that what you're telling me?
I don't understand the law, ma'am. What I can reply and tell the court is what I'm asked, and I can reply as to what I thought.
Today's verdict suggests the judge believed Pistorius' explanation.
I believe that the judge was swayed by his demeanor on the stand. The judge was swayed by the evidence that was procured by the defense, including, amongst others, the psychological impact that his childhood may have had on him, as well as the experts that were brought in by the defense.
This is almost certainly the best verdict Oscar Pistorius could have hoped for. It means the prosecution failed to convince the judge that the athlete meant to kill anybody, but it still means the judge found him criminally negligent.
Some of Reeva Steenkamp's friends have already criticised the verdict.
It is unfair, but it doesn't surprise me, and in fact that's pretty much what I expected from the outset. Because he can afford the best possible defense and private investigators to support his case.
Oscar Pistorius has yet to be sentenced. A prison term is very likely, up to 15 years, but the judge has the option simply to fine him and free him. Andrew Harding, BBC News, Pretoria.